You have a lot of decisions to make if you're building a new home. There are lots of options out there, and one option for you might be a modular home. Sometimes known as prefab homes or manufactured homes, they can offer a lot of benefits. Joining us today is Zach Rhodes from Sunrise Housing. So Zach, today's modular homes are not our grandparents' modular homes, are they?
No, they're not.
Can you explain what's changed over time as far as availability?
Customization is the biggest thing. So Sunrise Housing has been in business for over 50 years now, and when our owner, Jack Lure, took over the business from his parents in the early 90s, one of the things that he set out to do was to partner with factories that would allow for total customization of the floor plan. He felt strongly that each homeowner is unique and too diverse to be forced into a cookie cutter. Today, every home that we build is essentially a totally custom floor plan. And many of those are actually designed by the customers themselves. On top of that, the styles and offerings that Modular is able to produce have expanded greatly. So from your vanilla ranch to Cape Cods to 2 stories, vaulted ceilings, dormers, you name it.
Wow, that's really exciting. I need you to clarify something for me. I have heard of modular homes. I've also heard of manufactured homes or prefab homes. Are those terms interchangeable or are they different?
So prefabricated is sort of the general term to describe a home that is built inside of a factory and then shipped to a customer's home site. That could be manufactured, which goes on piers and is built to the HUD code, or modular, which is built to the residential code and is placed on a crawl space or a basement perimeter foundation.
So modular is more in line with a traditionally stick-built home with a basement then?
Exactly.
And you do both modular as well as manufactured?
Yes, we do both types.
Okay. How does a customer determine what their house is going to look like?
So visiting one of our 2 locations with display models is a great first step. But then once we start the design process, oftentimes we end up creating something new. And so that's where our CAD designers can be very helpful, because they can live draw with you, but also take your design and then create a 3D rendering of it and add in your colors, which really helps visualize what it is that you're creating.
Wow, having that kind of detail and being able to virtually walk through your home must be a great assurance for customers.
It is, because not everybody can imagine what a 2D black and white plan is going to look like, and particularly if they're struggling with a color scheme, or not totally sure if that countertop goes with the cabinets. Being able to see it in their very kitchen is really helpful.
Can you walk us through the construction process?
Sure. So once your design is completed, we'll turn that order into the factory, and generally speaking, that order will hit the assembly line in 8 to 10 weeks. And then from there, once that home is started on the assembly line, it's usually completed in about 1 week.
Wow. So what is the general timeline from the time you order the house to the time you can move in?
Once we've completed it at the factory on the assembly line, then we're going to ship that home to your site, and then there's the whole finish process on that end of things, and that is another 10 to 12 weeks. So your overall time frame, we tend to say, order to move in is about 4 to 6 months.
So being built in a factory, an enclosed factory, I imagine that offers a lot of advantages.
It does, yes. Your entire home build is not ever exposed to the elements. So your lumber and your building materials is out of the rain, the ice, the snow, and you also, because your home's being built on an assembly line, you have experts at every level, drywall, flooring, framing, and the precision in which they are assembling your floors, your walls, your ceilings is much higher than typical construction, and it creates a much tighter build, which is the best way that you can prevent air leakage in your home, and air leakage is typically the biggest detriment to a home's energy efficiency.
So when they're constructing this in the factory, you mentioned colors. So they not only do the plumbing, wiring, they can also do the paint. All of that is done in the factory?
Yeah, I mean, as much as the factory can do, they're doing. So whether that's flooring, cabinets, countertops, doors, trim, backsplash, wiring in the outlets, the lighting fixtures, putting in, your tub, your sink in the bathrooms, and then all of those things, whether, if, for example, plumbing, they're gonna stub through your water and drain lines underneath the floor, and your registers for your HVAC system are gonna be booted through the floor, and then those things get completed on site by your HVAC plumber.
Great. And lastly, let's talk about cost a little bit. Can you give us a range of comparison between this type of home and a traditionally built home?
Yeah, so we certainly have a variety of sizes, square footages, and quality levels, so that there is quite a range that we offer, but if we try to get as close to an apples-to-apples comparison to a traditional stick-built home, say on a basement, with one of our modular homes on a basement, 20 to 40% savings on that overall project is very common.
Thanks, Zach, so much for walking us through the process. This sounds like a great option. If you'd like more energy-saving ideas for the construction of your new PowerHouse, visit our website, powerhousetv.com.
Prefabricated homes were produced during the gold rush in the United States during the 19th century to enable California prospectors to quickly construct homes. Also known as kit houses, pre-cut houses, ready-cut houses, mail-order homes, or catalog homes, they remained popular into the first half of the 20th century.